Do you trust God? Do you trust yourself to hear God's voice? Thanks for joining me today. I want to share a story with you about when I really had to trust God. Shortly after 9/11, I had lost my job, and I had not even made one house payment yet. And about 30 days after losing my job and making my first house payment, my wife informed me we were having a baby. So I was a little nervous, newly married, new house, new child on the way, and okay, God, what do I do? I did what I could to make ends meet. Took jobs with friends, side jobs, everything that I could do to just make ends meet. During this time, I had started working in an industry I wasn't so familiar with, but because I was young enough that I still had skills to work in the field, I went to work installing cabinets in kitchens and bathrooms. And I started doing some side work, and I had an opportunity for some side work in another city with the guy that I was working with to make some extra money that I needed because I was short on my mortgage payment. At the same time, at my church, there was an encounter weekend a few miles away up in the mountains to retreat and get to spend some time with your friends and family of God and encounter God. It was a difficult decision for me, and I really had to take this opportunity to trust God because I needed the money to go work and support my family, like God said. On the other hand, we felt really impressed that we should go to this encounter weekend, which wasn't going to earn me money, it was going to cost me money. So I took the opportunity to trust God, and I said, okay, I'm going to use this opportunity. I'm going to trust you, Lord. So here's what happens. I go up to the mountains to the retreat. It's the first day, and I can't remember if it was the breakfast or the lunch, but you know, you got the big round tables with people, and of course, even though I'm a worship leader, I'm an introvert, so I want to sit with people that I know or people that I recognize. So I find one of the worship team members, saxophone player, and I sat down with him at this table of men, and we start talking. And he says, how's it going? Like we always say. And I'm like, well, I'm a little stressed. I don't know why I'm here. I had the opportunity to make some money this weekend on a side job. As you know, I haven't had a regular job in a long time, and here I am today. So he says, well, what exactly do you do? What's your skill set? And I told him I had been involved in sales in the past and some of the other things I'd done in life, and it kind of led me to this point where I was just paying the bills. He said, well, it sounds like to me with your background, you could be a perfect fit for working in my industry, which was the HOA industry. And I'm like, what's the HOA industry? I don't know what that is. It's like you live in a house and you make a monthly payment to your homeowners association. I'm like, yeah, I do. What does that mean? So what that means is there is an entire industry out there with managers, vendors, landscapers, handymen, and all this that I was completely unaware of, even though I was paying my monthly HOA dues. So he said, I want you to come down from this mountain on this retreat and call my boss, talk to him about hiring you. So I said, okay. So in my mind, I'm thinking this could be a divine appointment. This could work out really well. So come down the mountain, call the company, go for an interview, go for a second interview. So this takes about a week through this whole process. I'm getting pretty excited because I've got 2 interviews and I'm working through the process here. And I'm going, this is going to work. Friday afternoon comes and I'm thinking, man, you know, these guys should have called me by now. Why haven't they called me yet? My wife is saying, don't worry, we're trusting God. I'm like, okay, I'm trusting God, but I'm human. I'm a little nervous here. So at the end of the day, it's 5 minutes till 5. And of course, my flesh is freaked out. So what do I start doing? I start complaining. I'm going to have to spend the whole weekend wondering what's going to go on. I'm going to have to spend the weekend looking for a job, going through the whole process again, because obviously these guys are not going to call me. I trusted God. God, I could have went and got the side job. I could have made some money. Now I'm like a little short, and I'm just frustrated. I'm tired of this whole struggle and this whole process. At 5 minutes till 5 on Friday afternoon, the company calls me. He says, I'd like to offer you a job making this much money. I literally shouted in this poor guy's ear, yes! I was so excited. I couldn't believe it. And I hung up the phone, and I had to apologize to God and to my wife for having no faith, because in that moment when I made the decision not to go do the side job, to go up to the mountain to encounter God, I was just kind of being obedient in my own mind. But what's really happening was God was teaching me to trust him. And that voice that you have on the inside, you're thinking, where does this voice come from? This is God's voice talking to you. If you're a Christian and the Holy Spirit lives inside of you, you have him inside of you. That voice, your conscience, is God speaking to you. So I don't want to hear it when you say, God doesn't speak to me. Of course he speaks to you. That's that voice you hear. You can choose to disobey that, but the truth is God speaks to you. And the more you follow those little voices, those little things that you think are insignificant or major things that really challenge you and cause you to trust him and step out on the ledge in faith and do something in the natural, just makes no sense whatsoever. Try it. You'll be amazed. Trust God. Trust yourself to know that you're hearing from God. And that's my word for you today. Thanks for listening.